and welcome to Your Coaching Journey, a podcast for doctors about coaching. Whether you're a coaching doctor, a doctor who is learning to coach, or a doctor who'd like to build coaching into your professional life, then this is the podcast for you.
Hi, I'm Helen Leathers, and with me today is my business partner and co-host, Tom Dillon. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Helen. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Are you good?
I'm wonderfully well, thank you very much.
I've just eaten a chocolate biscuit, which was delicious.
Very good.
I just thought I'd share.
Don't share it, you know.
Oh, I'm not going to share the biscuit.
No.
I just thought I'd share the experience.
Good. What are we talking about today, Helen?
Today we're going to talk about working with a coaching program.
Okay. It's a phenomenon that I'm not actually familiar with in the way that I work.
No.
So, I understand the notion, but and I understand that for a lot of coaches, it actually provides some structure that they desperately want to have. So, yeah, I'm all for it as a topic of conversation and something potentially to work with new coaches around. I just don't do it myself.
No. And we had a bit of a chat whilst we were out for a walk the other day about this, and we thought, oh, that's a podcast episode.
Yeah. We should have had our mics with us. We could have recorded it walking around Draycote Water. But here we are.
Here we are instead. So hopefully we can remember what we were talking about.
Yeah, so I maybe my approach is worth just flagging up because it is different. And then we could talk more about programs. So I take a very emergent approach to my coaching. So I never know what someone is going to bring. Obviously, when they come and they book their coaching sessions with me, they have an idea of what they want to get out of the coaching. I don't really know how long I'm going to be working with them, but I will tend to kind of plump for 6 sessions, potentially. Maybe 4. It depends how I feel, to be honest. But 4 to 6 sessions initially, and then see how we go, see if they want more after that. I tend to get them to pay for them up front. Or if it's within an organisation, we'll get a contract from the organisation. So I know what I'm working with. I've got the parameters within which I'm working, but I don't have a set programme of we are going to do this, this and this. I have some activities for them to do before they come to coaching, which we may well talk about, but we might not. Depending on what's burning for them. So, and I'm happy to go with the flow of what they're talking about. So I'm coaching someone at the moment that I've been coaching for 2 years, and I see him once every couple of months, and he just really enjoys the space of being allowed to think without me getting in his way. Yeah, so that's my approach, I guess. So let's talk about programs and why it might be beneficial for a coach to have a program.
Yeah, so my approach has been different because that's how I was taught. My coach training taught me to deliver and coach around a 12-session program. And I think the benefits, you've just said, why is it beneficial? Yes, it provides that structure. When I left my coach training, I knew this is what I was going to sell. This is what I was going to deliver. So for me, it gave me structure. And I think also it can make that whole marketing side of things a little bit easier because you package your offering. And I will often say to people, if they're going out and promoting themselves, don't go out and say, I offer coaching. You know, I'm a coach and I coach people. People who are on the receiving end of that marketing message, it's too nebulous. They don't hear that it's for them. And I think what a coaching program can do in the same way that niching into an area of coaching can do is to have that message be more clear and be heard by more people. So they say, oh, that sounds like me. So I am a coach that helps people develop their confidence, or I offer a program that helps people to fill in the gap here. And they'll say, oh, that sounds like me. That sounds like something that I would benefit from. Let me have a conversation with that person. So I think there are a number of benefits there.
Yeah. And you're solving the problem that they have, aren't you?
Yeah.
Obviously, if you are a women's confidence coach and you offer a 12-session program around increasing someone's confidence, then they know what they're signing up to.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I came out of my coach training, and I still work with women in this area, I work with women who've got to a point in their lives where they're thinking, what about me? Where am I? They've got lost along the way. Their old labels have shifted. Maybe kids have gone off to university, or they've gone through a divorce, or perhaps facing redundancy. And there are some key elements that they are typically overwhelmed by life and work, and also quite often running on empty. And so my program of 12 sessions addresses those issues.
I realised on the back of our conversation that you are likely to get more work from this podcast episode than I am.
Quite possibly.
But really, truthfully, that is the thing, isn't it? Because people will hear your message and they go, well, actually, I could use Helen as a coach. Whereas me, I go, I'm emergent. I work with what people have got.
But depending on the personality and what you're coming to coaching for.
But I think your message is much clearer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of, this is what I'm helping people with.
Yeah.
And I have a program that will help you.
Yeah. And I think that it's easy to say it's a marketing strategy, which sounds cutthroat and ruthless. But
sounds like you.
Thanks.
She's lovely, really.
But marketing is about finding your niche. It's about finding your message. It's about communicating what you do with people. And I think that having that really clear message is great. It's really important. But I think also, when I did my training, I felt really passionately about how I could help people. I'd been through a period of time where the tools I'd learned on that coach training had helped me. I'd worked with them for a year beforehand with the organisation I trained with. And then I thought, these are so amazing. I can take these out. I can show people how to use these tools. I can coach them around this topic. And it felt really important. It felt like important work that I wanted to go out and do. And so then the message becomes really clear. And the story, the journey, my story becomes my marketing. Yeah. So, so not as cutthroat as it sounds.
No. So it's all very congruent, in alignment with your values and your beliefs.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think the danger is if someone takes a coaching program and is very, very rigid with it. This is what we're going to do. Yeah. And where they conflate coaching with training or teaching or mentoring. And so my message with coaching programs is you can create a coaching program, be prepared to throw a lot of it out the window because...
Well, just flex around it.
Okay. I'll rephrase that. Create a structured coaching program, sell off the back of that, have a really clear message, but be prepared to be very flexible. And, a lot of the time I'll get through 12 sessions with someone and there will be half the tools that potentially I could have planned to use. We haven't even gone anywhere near because we still need to work with the presented outcome from the coachee. We still need to have that at the forefront of our mind. We still need to flex every time they turn up when we talk about what's gone on for them in the time between sessions. And, sometimes that means they want to sit and talk. I've early on when I had an early coaching client going through that program, I had a plan. On session 3, we would do this, this and this. And she turned up, walked in the door and burst into tears. Like, you can't go, have a tissue. Let's get on with what I've planned for you today. It has to be what's happening.
Yeah.
And, we spent an hour with her and that was a very person-centered coaching session where she cried And I remember that one very clearly because I asked 4 questions in 60 minutes and she just talked about things. So that flexibility is essential.
Yeah, sounds like one of my coaching sessions. Yeah, I know. I remember a career coach that was part of my sort of coaching community at one time, asking me to take a look at her program and just let her know what I thought. And she had lots of homework in between the sessions for the coachees to do. And then the following session would be based on them having done the homework. And I just say, what are you going to do if they don't do the homework?
Yeah.
And she said, oh, I hadn't thought about that. And there's a good chance they won't do the homework. So then, what's that session going to be around? So yeah, useful to be able to flex.
Yeah. And I think perhaps it's easy to get caught up in tools and programs and structure and not go anywhere near actual coaching.
Yeah.
That's easy if people allow themselves to go into that space. I like a bit of homework between sessions, and it's completely voluntary. I invite coachees to give it a go because the homework that I set, I know will help with the outcome that they're looking for. But if they don't do it, then that's up to them. And sometimes I've talked to people about journaling, for example, and said this on a podcast before, and they've never done it. Other times they've done it, thought it was amazing. Sometimes I remember getting a text like last year or the year before. 3 years ago, you told me about this thing called journaling. I've just done it. And we, finished coaching ages ago. They'd remembered and found it really beneficial.
Yeah.
So
I know I like the idea that comes from Gestalt coaching of everything being an experiment. So you might offer them the invitation to do journaling before they see you again. For some people, that's not going to be their thing.
Yeah.
And they might go, yeah, I tried it didn't work.
Yeah.
And so we try something else.
And my next session isn't dependent on that having been done. And that's the key, I think.
Yeah. So you've talked about the fact that you do have a 12-week program. What sort of structure does that take?
So first of all, I have a discovery call with people, obviously, and discuss what it is they want out of the program. And typically there are 2 things that I absolutely always do. One is a bit of a profile questionnaire, which we can then discuss and talk around. And one, because most of my clients who come to me are tired, quite frankly, exhausted, overwhelmed, running on empty, we tend to always do a vitality plan, energy plan, well-being plan, something like that, whatever I'm calling it in that moment. And because it's so hard to do all of the other things that you want to or need to do in life if you're running on empty. So whether someone comes and says, I'm terrible at setting boundaries, or saying, no, I want to change the world. It's something I wanted to do since I was 18 and I've not got around to it because I've been busy, whatever, and anywhere in between, managing yourself or changing the world, and anywhere in between, you need to have some energy, you need to have some inner resources. So we always tend to do that. Other things usually tend to include values work in the program. And then other things kind of can be changed out. So I might like to do a strengths exercise, but for some people, I might do something else. It just depends what comes up. So we go through a journey, and I look at the parts of them that are really empowered and resourced and well expressed in life, and we look at the parts of them that are less empowered, less resourced, and less available to them, and how we can bring those up to be expressed, and to help them through perhaps making decisions or taking action, all with that outcome in mind. But the tools that I use, I can vary. I dip in and out. So yeah, there's some structure there, taking them through that process, but it's very flexible.
Yeah. And obviously on our program, transformational coaching diploma program, we introduce people to lots of different ways of being in the coaching room, lots of different approaches. We give them lots of tools and techniques that they could use. And we say, this is transformational coaching, but it's your version of transformational coaching.
Yeah.
So you get to decide how you're going to coach, and you can kind of cherry pick the ideas that you like, the approaches, the tools, the techniques, and build your own program. Now, our last sort of consolidation session on the program is around that. Some part of it is, what would your program look like? So getting them to think about it, but they sort of leave our program without a program. So they're still thinking about that. They're still giving it some thought. So I think there is some scope for us to offer more guidance on what a program might look like.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I have a plan.
Oh, it's almost like I knew that was going to happen.
I'm going to be running a workshop for our students in November.
Very good.
So at the moment it is October. And I'm going to be running it on the 27th of November. So
just for, this wasn't a thing yesterday when we walked around Draycote.
No, it was a thing yesterday.
We had a conversation about programs yesterday whilst walking around Draycote.
And it's just, I think, to go to a coach training organisation and to be given a cookie cutter approach, and here's a program, might be really useful for some people. The training I had gave me a flexible 12-session program, but it's morphed. We discussed this yesterday. My coaching program looks very different to how it was when I was first trained.
So you found your own way.
Because I found my own way, absolutely. And we certainly don't want to be in the business of giving people a program, because everyone comes from different angles to our coaching diploma. You know, they might be coaching in the NHS, they might be just doing it for their own personal development, or they might be going out to venture into the coaching world themselves in private practice. So we want to give that, like you say, that flexibility, weave your own kind of magic with these tools that we provide. So yesterday, after our discussion, I was thinking, well, yes, having some space to really sit down in a facilitated way and plan out what my coaching program looks like could be really useful. So I'm going to run it.
Hurrah!
And who knows, I might run it again, or we might record it and provide it as a pre-recorded thing. Don't know yet. We'll see. We're going to look at what journey you take your client on, the tools you might use, how to plan it, how to cost it, quite importantly. And people may not leave with a finished, shiny object of a coaching program, but they will leave with a framework to build on, and to start moving towards that coaching program. So that's my plan.
Great.
So we'll put a link to the show notes about that. It'll be a 2-hour evening workshop. As usual, I'll try and cram way too much into it, but you will leave feeling more confident about a coaching program.
Good. So we're recording this in October 2025. So Helen's launching this in November 2025. If you're listening to this in January 2026, take a look at the website and see when the next running of that program will be, that workshop will be.
Absolutely. Just one thing I get asked quite a lot is, do you share your coaching program with your coachees? And my answer is no. The parts that don't change, I will. So the coaching part, I'm going to be drawing the answers out of you. I'm not going to be giving you answers. We're going to use some tools that will help you understand yourself better, that you will coach around. If there's something very specific like a profile report, I'll mention that. Everything else is subject to change. Yeah. So I just say this is a program that's going to help you get to where you want to be, or towards where you want to be in that time. So I think that that's just something that I get asked a lot. Do I share the program? Not really, because I don't know what it's going to look like for sure.
Well, and if they come and they want to talk about something and you don't get to do anything in session 2, then the program's sort of out the window, isn't it? If you said that this is my program, you've already broken your own rules. So good.
It allows me to be more emergent like you.
Yeah. Good.
So hopefully that's useful.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I say stemmed from a conversation we were having about it, but I think useful for us to give some thought to what comes next for our coaches when they leave our coaching training, and definitely for those who want to venture out there and sell themselves as a coach. They won't like selling themselves as a coach. They don't like that idea. They're all good at it, but they don't like it. They having some thought about whether they want a program or not is really useful.
Yeah,
So,
I think sometimes it's easier to go, here's a package, rather than selling themselves as a coach.
Yeah.
It's a subtle difference, but it's a difference that makes the difference.
Yeah, so you're selling a product rather than yourself.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said what happens once they've left our coaching diploma, because I thought next time on the podcast we might talk about our advanced diploma.
Oh, yes, let's do that. We've not mentioned it to anyone really.
Not really, no, other than the people who qualify to attend it. So let's have a chat about that.
Okay, good. Look forward to that. I shall see you next time. Thank you, Helen.
And don't forget to subscribe, otherwise you'll miss out on all these.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to say that.
You do.
Need to tell your friends about it. Give us a 5-star rating on your podcast platform of choice.
On a scale of 1 to 5. Remember, 1 is not good.
No.
5 is fabulous.
Give us a 5-star rating. Thank you, Helen.
See you next time.
Bye.
For now.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.